Hey, what's up, Aries? Welcome to this general tarot reading. Per usual, all of the typical disclaimers are assumed. All of the non-typical disclaimers are asserted. I'm not responsible for you misusing the truth imparted by this message if it is not meant for you. You need to make sure that you take what is meant for you and leave the rest for someone else. Make sure to check the timestamps below to skip to relevant parts of the read. Well, it looks like you've got your cards coming out here pretty quickly. If you need to, make sure you can also skip to the end, to the conclusion section. That typically sums up a lot of what the reading's about. There can be interesting tidbits, though, along the way, so it's up to you. Also, make sure to check the description box for other ways you can support me, either directly through PayPal or indirectly through social media follows. Those go a long way towards supporting my ability to do this. Alright, so far what we've got this energy of, we've got these two individuals here who are not seeing eye to eye. They're both in insecure energy, they're both in toxic energy. One of them is a fire sign, Page of Wands, which can signify a younger Aries. So maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're a young adult. Typically, though, it's like child and children and teenagers is a lot of times what this signifies as a person. And the Queen of Cups is typically represents a female, an older female, so typically a mom. So right off the bat, it's looking like maybe your mom is a water sign, and maybe you're this Page of Wands. And you're both not seeing eye to eye, and it's toxifying you both. There's also water and fire, which diminish each other. They don't reinforce each other. So there's even this extra diminishment here of that. And then we also are moving on to the Five of Cups after that, which is a sign of things getting old to a certain extent, kind of giving up on feeling happy, even though there's options. So that's kind of a weird sign that perhaps these two individuals are not feeling the energy like they used to for each other. They've kind of worn out each other to a certain extent. But then right at the end here we have the Six of Wands coming out, which is typically a sign of victory. It's another fire energy, so it's more to your energy, which is very interesting because the cups would signify more, the cup energy here is signifying more defeat, more feeling defeated, sort of more being locked in the insecurity, whereas the fire energy is actually showing a more of an interest in moving on, moving forward, achieving some kind of victory. Even though the Page of Wands is in reverse as well, their match here in this with the Six of Wands is much more forward progress. And I dare say it speaks to the Page of Wands kind of seeing better in this situation, even if both sides aren't seeing too greatly. So this could also just be a sign that you're going to get over this, how this feels. Let's see what continues here. Queen of Pentacles reverse though. So now we have another sign entering the mix. Queen of Pentacles. So it's a competing feminine. Possibly another mother figure. Maybe an aunt or something. Like, they typically both represent women. They can both represent women and they can both represent mothers. Disappointing, your Six of Wands energy gets so this is a little strange because as we move along the energy here, we have this like random flash of optimism in the form of this Page of Wands. There might even be some resistance to trying to take this path, but the idea is that it eventually yields this Four of Wands stability. So a lot of resistance in the path of whom I'm assuming is this page, because that's who the energy is getting matched for. So this page's fire energy might be seeing a different way to approach this, because both of these queens are the feminine queens, the earth queen and the water queen, which are the more feminine natures. But then we have this page of wands, which is masculine, so it's kind of suggesting that there's like a masculine page of wands who... Another weird mix here. I was going to suggest that it was a page of wands who maybe isn't vibing with all of the feminine energy, and they have a different approach that they see with their masculine energy, but they're kind of interfered with in this. But there's good signs that they would find success in that particular direction. Six of Wands is a sign of victory achieved, feeling what it feels like to achieve victory, and the Four of Wands is the sign of like established success. So if you reach this Four of Wands, Nine of Pentacles just coming out too. So if you reach this Four of Wands, these queens should feel better about that, but they apparently do not. So that's kind of strange. We've also got the Four of Wands being diminished by this Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups reverse. And we also have your Six of Wands being... So both of these successful wands are being diminished by these water energies. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about, but it's here. So, whatever this goal is, it's like getting diminished. The victory is hard fought, and then the stability is even a little shaky because of this Eight of Cups reverse, which is... That's like a sign of giving up on a good plan due to like some kind of fear or paranoia. So like it's walking away from... That's one way to read it, is that it's walking away from that. Traditionally I saw this more as a sign of having trouble walking away from a situation. And that's also clarified here by the Knight of Pentacles, which that's an earth energy, but it's also a little older than the Page of Wands. It represents a masculine individual. And they are kind of known, it's kind of like a slow but steady wins the race kind of thing. So that's the kind of individual who would be embracing the Knight of Wands, or the Eight of Cups in the upright. In the reverse though, I would expect to see the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse as well, if that was to match them. So the fact that I'm seeing it in the upright, it's kind of a sign that the Knight of Pentacles like wants to... It's almost like they're trying to salvage a situation. I'm not sure what their relationship is to this Queen of Pentacles. An older child of the Queen, perhaps. Typically a younger male, 25, 35 kind of thing. Could be older. But typically that's where the energy is at. Kind of a tricky read here for an Aries. For sure. You got this Aries victory in the center, which is pretty good, but the surrounding energy is very tough. Definitely tough energy on the edges. I'm trying to get some more clarity on this. How is this Knight of Pentacles clarifying this Eight of Cups? Like, honestly, a Knight of Pentacles taking their sweet time would naturally perhaps be taking a long time to walk away from the situation. So, as much as that's a clarifier for that, though, I'm not sure this mixes into your reading. The upright Knight of Pentacles is sort of a consistent... It's like an energy of consistency. Okay, so we've got 4-4 on your Four of Wands. So grounding the Four of Wands is the Four of Pentacles. That's interesting because as a sign of material grounding of yourself. So it's a very good sign of like sort of grounding yourself internally and externally, stabilizing yourself internally and externally. And seeing as how the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Wands are clarifying on the Four of Pentacles, it's like it's just a very good sign of consistency paying off for you. The only trick here is this 8 of Cups reverse, which is kind of a signifier for like, to a certain extent, it's a sign of somebody not leaving that's annoying you. You really want somebody who's annoying you to leave, but they're just not leaving. They're sticking around. That's what this can symbolize. And in this situation where you've found this Four of Wands stability, the exact thing that could ruin that Four of Wands stability is just some annoying person who's not taking the hint to get out of there. And it could be this Knight of Pentacles, because they're a little slower at realizing that, perhaps. So that's one way to read this. It's weird though, because this Knight of Pentacles is a key to this grounding. So I'm not sure whose gears they're grinding, but it's a little bit of a sign that they are maybe welcome in some aspects, but not in others. They're upright. They're not ill-dignified here. So, like, the only thing I could say is perhaps they're not attuned to the speed of this fire energy. Maybe. So maybe they're a little underpaced for what this Aries would desire. Kind of interesting, for sure. And then we've got this grounding into the Four of Pentacles, so it's like, I don't know who this Knight of... Okay, so now we just had the Page of Swords come out. So that's water, fire, earth, and wind individuals emerging from this. As a clarifier on this Queen of Pentacles, like, very insecure, very gossipy, like very unstable internally. It could signify having a little bit, oh, and then they diminish each other. Air and earth diminish each other. So you're looking at this insecure energy, like, working against your grain, so to speak. Which is part of why you're trying to get to this Four of Wands stability. Because you're kind of tired of this insecurity taking you down a notch. And now that we have all these extra energies emerging here, we're up to 5 suit cards now. The only one that could signify you is the Page of Wands, directly. The other ones, it could just be an energy thing. That's a crazy split right there. Tower of Death thing. So, like, if I swapped these out and just read off the energies of the people. Page of Wands, if we're assuming that's you, but we move on from that. The Queen of Cups is somebody who, like, they can be misled by their feelings. They're influenceable through their feelings, basically. Probably because they're like afraid of how they feel. So it's easier for people to, like, manipulate their feelings to a certain extent. That can make them toxic in their own right. So it is kind of a sign of toxic, feeling toxic. And the Five of Cups clarifying that would be just sort of reinforcing that idea that the individual is kind of aware of how they feel. And that they seek this new victory, but upon seeking that new victory, they fall into this other insecure energy about like, there's another form of insecurity that strikes in the form of the energy is like putting others down when they try to succeed like you do. It's an insecurity form. That's kind of what the Queen of Pentacles can be known for. Like, they will reach for their own success in certain ways, but then like they're insecure at other people outshining them in that factor, in those factors. But I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully this makes sense to you, because the energies aren't really meshing very well for me. So I'm not sure if this could click for you somehow. Because we also have this insecure Queen of Pentacles clarified by this insecure Page of Swords, so that's like more to that insecurity. Even like some verbal outbursting of it. A lot more. So just very insecure. And then like the one form of secure energy, this Knight of Pentacles, it doesn't even look like they're very pleasant to be around to a certain extent. That's unfortunate. And then I'm not really sure here about this Four of Wands just muddled into the energy, except for as an outlook. And something that you really want to have, especially if it's clarified this Four of Pentacles, that's solid stability. That's solid internal and external stability. But these other people, like all of these other individuals emerging from the cards, if they aren't representing individuals, are like, they're people that you don't want in your Four of Wands. They would ruin it because of their insecurity, their toxicity. And this Knight of Pentacles, even though they're not necessarily toxic, they're somebody that you want to leave, basically. You want them to leave. They also, that's just a sign that they also ruin it. So like, I'm not sure who these people are. I'm not sure if they're getting in your way from trying to find this. Okay, so now we have the Star card. So once again, this hope is about, or this victory is what you're really hoping for. This victory. You're really hoping for this difference in this change. It actually inspires it inspires you within yourself, so to speak. You are dazzled by the potential victory. Like, it definitely means a lot to you. Eight of Pentacles on the Five of Cups. Sort of a warning to, maybe a sign that you're getting tired of the work this takes. Like, even though you can produce the good craftsmanship, or even though you can produce well, it's starting to not feel the same as it used to, perhaps. But it's also, you also have to keep your optimism if you want to achieve this other success. Yeah, this is definitely a little weird. I'm not really... Chariot. Whoops. Cancer energy, which means it could be the Queen of Cups could be a Cancer in reverse. Weird energy for this Queen of Cups to be in if they're an upright Chariot wielder. They could even be somebody who could achieve in the workplace. If they can wield the Chariot, then they can achieve Eight of Pentacles. So they should have a better outlook about this. This almost leads me to believe that they are taking this is very personal about you for some reason. And that their better side is not coming out when it comes to dealing with you in particular. Because apparently they have the capacity to do a lot better than they're doing for you in this scenario. But you're triggering their insecurity for some reason. And that could really cause some tension if they aren't allowing you to grow into yourself. Which is why you see such a great victory ahead and why that inspires your hope so much. So once again, it kind of leads me to believe that this Five of Cups energy is much more about this Queen of Cups. That they are the one who is really losing their heart to a certain extent about something. And you seem to be the trigger for that, because they have victorious capacity within them if they have the Chariot card. Like, that's a card of earned success. And so is the Eight of Pentacles. So they've got this, like, ability to achieve, but maybe achieve in their career and achieve materially, but they're having trouble with you a little bit, it seems like. And I don't have any other clarifiers for what that is, because it's just the energy here is that it's a weird place for them to be in. And it's an interesting way to resonate that whom this might be about. Especially if they're a Cancer older woman, a Cancer mother. Because the Chariot is Cancer's card. And it would probably help their own outlook and their own hope if they would see things a little differently. But then that's also where it's matching back into this Queen of Pentacles energy, because the Queen of Pentacles energy has trouble letting other people succeed in their own way, So it's almost as if maybe this page is trying to follow in this Queen's footsteps, but this Queen's insecurity is actually blocking their progress due to their own insecurity, if they're matching up with these energies. And if we have the, let's see what this is, Hangman reverse. Oh, whoops. Crap. Okay. So that's like, yeah, this Page of Wands is like, they're having some trouble relying on their own internal capacity. And one reason that can be is like if your mother is too defensive of you, because you never have to retrospect if they're always standing up for you, kind of thing. So Hangman reversed is like, for some reason this Page of Wands is in fact being stifled. And it's not really getting more specific. But if you are the Page of Wands, then you have good reason to be looking for your own victory and your own internal stability, because it's being taken away from you. And the match I'm getting here is that this Queen of Pentacles energy is coming out for whomever is doing this, because that the insecurity of the Queen of Pentacles energy is exactly who could be this successful, who could be successful as the Chariot and successful with the Eight of Cups, but then be like putting down this individual because maybe you share their potential, but they're getting this weird insecurity about it. It's all very insecure. The only non-insecure part is over here, but this isn't as much about them as it is about you over here. So if we kind of exclude that part, these three are very insecure. And the fact that they're insecure about you is disappointing. Are they really afraid of you getting, like, are they really afraid of you stealing their thunder? Is that really what's up here? That would be disappointing. Is it they're just overprotective of you? That's also a piece of the puzzle. It is strange though, because this Queen of Cups typically has these measures of success about them, but they aren't bringing them out in this instance. And that matches up with this idea that the Queen of Pentacles might be their energy also, in that. So we're actually looking at somebody who's like really all over the place with their energy, earth, air, and water. Maybe they have different hopes for you than are realistic. Or maybe they don't have, maybe their hopes just don't align with your hopes. Either way, the insecurity is very present in this. And it's not exactly like that's going to stand in the way of your energy, of you finding your own internal stability. Because if you can get to Four of Wands and Four of Pentacles stability, that can turn this Hanged Man reverse energy around. And you can probably turn your Page of Wands energy around. And you're already on the way there with the Star card and the Four of Wands. So the one thing here, though, is that this Eight of Cups reverse is diminishing. It's going to diminish your Four of Wands stability as long as you don't deal with the people that are annoying you in your presence. If you don't get rid of them somehow, like, and you could probably do it nicely, you don't have to call them dumb or anything like that, but if you leave them there, they're just going to rub you the wrong way. And that's going to interfere with your Four of Wands stability. Especially if there are these insecure individuals. Because we're even seeing this Queen of Pentacles have some Page of Swords, which could help disrupt your internal world as well. If they're channeling this reverse Page of Swords energy. Because that can get under your skin if they're very verbally caustic towards you. So it's like, definitely very interesting reading. I wish I had more here. I feel like I'm just on the edge of this big time. I don't really know what else to say. There's so many different individuals potentially in this reading with all of these court cards. And the energy bounces around a lot. It isn't really getting very specific. The best thing I'm keying in on here is how this Queen of Cups is missing their... They're not applying their successful capabilities to this individual very well. And it's creating some emotional issues. This individual has different hopes for success, apparently. So, for some reason, this queen isn't managing to embrace and empower this page's hope for success. Despite their own success, which is kind of... that's very disappointing behavior. Alright, so that's all I've got for this one, Aries. We're at 27 minutes, so it's kind of short reading compared to some of my other ones. But like I said, I hope this really resonates for somebody because it's all over the place for me. There's not a lot of specifics. There's a lot of vagueness in a lot of different directions. And I wish I could provide more here for you. But I would need more details for this. For how these cards are playing out here. It might have been enough for you. You might have already gotten what you needed. But no Emperor coming out in this Aries read. Just this Page of Wands reverse. That's the only sign for you. So that's typically like a younger teenage. It can be a boy or a girl. It does not have to be one or the other. And there's no clarifiers to one or the other necessarily. But it sounds like you really want to grow, and that is being denied you, is what I'm reading in this. You want to grow, but there's these insecure feminine energies that are interfering with that growth. And it's both that they think they're helping you externally, but it's also, to a certain extent, whether they realize it or not, they're trying to deal with their own insecurities internally. So a very insecure individual about you. Finding this success is very strange. Very disappointing to hear that. And your hope and your it's not necessarily showing, this is really showing that your insecurity is a result of these individuals. Because your energy, the Six of Wands upright, the Star upright, your energy, the Four of Wands upright, the Four of Pentacles upright, that's all very good. And that's all that energy is overcoming this reversed hangman. Because the reversed hangman would have trouble succeeding and stabilizing like this, so it's a sign that you're overcoming this. And it doesn't give me that sign through the message that you do that, but it's showing the results of you doing that, so I'm stipulating that you probably managed to do that. And even when you're transitioning from this phase, there's still going to be like insecurity nipping at your heels from this energy, this weird energy. And there's a sign here that you'll have some learning to do about dealing with your own stability, but it's not showing up too bad. You gotta be careful about who you let into your inner stability now. You know, you don't want this toxicity that kept you out of there following you in there and ruining things. Not after you managed to pull this off, however you did that. So, all right, Aries, I'm gonna cut the reading. I don't have anything else more to say here. I don't know what else to say. I wish I had more information. I could be more detailed. This reading is all over the place. I really hope it still resonates for somebody. You know, if a couple pieces fit in here, this could be like an extremely in-depth reading for someone. But I'm left a little disappointed, and I wish that it was more clear from this perspective, just because I'm worried if it was good enough for you. But I've just got to take faith at this point, because this is what came out. So good luck, and take care.